I use OBS a lot, and I want a Stream Deck. I've just been using these 6 keys, but I realized you can actually use these keys. But I also want it to be not connected to the keyboard that I'm using. So, to fix that, we're gonna make one. Okay, I've got all the buttons here working except these two. For some reason these two, the wire went all the way around here. Around here, down around here somewhere, and went up, and I'm like, oh, I could just bind those two keys together to like this key and this key or something. I don't really need it. So that's the top layer. Now I've got to do bottom layer. If that makes sense. So how they work is it's done by contact. You're probably wondering what's going on at this point because I didn't really explain what I'm doing. So I'll show you. This is the inside of the keyboard. There's 3 pieces of plastic. This is a spacer, so we don't really need to worry about this. But these are the 2 pieces of plastic. And I'm going to make my own little version of it that's much more simpler so I can explain it a little bit better. I'm just going to get a laminating sleeve and like just put it in 2 pieces. Sharpie. Okay. Where's my ruler? Okay, this is a very simple version. One side's down and one side's up. Say, for example, if you press on a button, they touch each other and they send the electricity through each other. Of course, that's not going to happen as it's Sharpie, but just pretend it does. So, for example, say you touched here. It would send an output of C and 5. And the computer would then know it's that key. If you pressed over here, that would make a contact and it would be 3 and B. It's kind of that simple, except they've just made it so it's as compact as they can. So yeah, what I mean by cutting the wires is I only want, say for example, these 9 keys here. So I need to know which of these wires I can chop and still make necessary and still have it working rather. So I can chop this one, I can get rid of pretty much all of these. I can't, I can get rid of this. Except for the fact that these aren't straight. So they're all like this. And I had to figure out if any of these wires here were central to the board. Luckily, only 2 of them were. For some reason, there was one that ran all the way around here. But apart from that, I could have just chopped straight down here. Like, in fact, apart from this cable here that went out to the middle, I could have just chopped this straight in half and it would have still worked. Exactly how it is now. So, yeah, if you have a, HPKU 1156, you can just make sure that the cable's out of the way and you can cut it off and the number pad will still work, except 4 and what else here? I think it was plus. I'm going to stop interrupting so you can continue watching the video. So the only 2 keys that actually don't work is plus and 4. I expected there to be more, but it's just plus and 4. So, yeah, that's good. I changed the layout of the buttons a little bit so every single button here works, if that makes sense. There we go, I remapped it so every single one of these buttons does something. Now what we need to do is cut it along here. That's gonna be the difficult part. First I have to cut this, then I have to cut this, then I have to connect this back to the piece of metal, then I'm gonna cut the back plate, and then I finally have to cut this. It's gonna take a while. There we go, I cut them. And no, before you say in the comment, I did not cut them with the teeny tiny little orange scissors. Now we just have to assemble it back together. Alright, what I'm going to do now is get some tin snips and just make this a little bit thinner. A bit better. Now, it is quite sharp, so let's put like a piece of plastic or something over it. actually did a pretty good job on it, to be honest. The end.